before we get into this and how calendars can make or break a schedule and really create a lot of kerfuffles. If this is the first time that you're watching us, thank you. We are Brian and Paul from the More Than Black or White Health Podcast. We're here for space so you can learn to be your own advocate for health and well-being.
And I just learned a new word, man. A kerfuffle. I like that.
Hold up. You never heard of kerfuffle?
Kerfuffle. Is that a real word or is it like a slang?
Yes, look it up. Don't make me go. It's just short so don't make me go.
My English is bad.
Yo.
And you're a words man, so you help me out a lot. I appreciate that.
It's a kerfuffle, man. It's a good thing rather than saying the shit show, right?
All right.
Kerfuffle. Makes people smile too.
Yeah.
So B, so I got to chop it up with you on this thing. So about 2 months ago, Brian and I, we schedule our time so we do our podcast. And there was a woman that we scheduled, I think it was Dr. Lynn. We scheduled her originally for, I think it was like beginning of September. And I'm like, oh, junk. I recognize I double booked. Now, anytime I double book, like I always get this sense of like shame and guilt, and I feel like crap. I'm like, oh God. But I would never do anything about it.
Mm-hmm.
So it was like it would keep happening, and then I keep going through that whole consistent cycle. So one of the things, like when I went over that situation with my coach, and he was like, yo, let me see your calendar. I was like,
oh, what?
Yeah, I was like, huh? I was like, here's what I said. I said, which one? I got the phone one, right? I got this calendar up here above my desk. I got my computer in Google.
Mm-hmm. And you got the one in your head.
The most reliable one.
Most reliable one, yes.
So I'm like, yo, what? So he got me on the scheduling thing. And I wanted to talk about this because it really came through beyond the scheduling. It came through in a situation that we just had where we were all supposed to get together. And there was like miscommunication, a whole lot of lapses and a whole bunch of stuff.
Yeah, that was a kerfuffle.
That was a kerfuffle.
Yeah.
So I wanted to talk about it because I think it's important, especially now, be like, you'll notice like everybody's got somewhere they have to go and everywhere they have to be. And especially, I don't know about you, but as I get older, I find it even more difficult to really connect consistently with people like I care about. So calendars are super important. It's really about mastering that sense of time. So, bro, like, let me ask you, do you have a calendar? Do you work with a calendar?
Yeah, I have to. I have one in my phone, and I stick to that one. And I actually have your calendar too, the More Than Black and White Gmail. So I use that for like the podcast, but I have my personal one. And I mean, as an entrepreneur, and the more you want to grow, the more appointments you need to take on, the more tasks you need to do. You need to organize your day because sometimes you have like 10 things that need to get done in like 3 months. So like, how do you organize it? So you have to have a calendar or you're falling behind. It's kind of like if you don't have a plan, what's the saying? If you don't have a plan, some plan as you or something like that.
Yeah, that was definitely not it. But it was
that was definitely not it. Another
now you got me thinking. I'm like, oh my God. It'll come to me.
Yeah.
But you get it. This is serious, right? And for whatever you do, like listen, even if it's down to when you're gonna get your movement in. And I'm gonna be vulnerable here on this spot, and I'm gonna show my calendar here. So like free of judgment, I'm like, I'll breathe through it. But I think it's important for people to understand, like, listen, and whatever you're looking to do, carving out that time for yourself to do it is extremely important. And I'm working with someone right now, and we talked about this time commitment and it's about really creating boundaries. So this first one that we're gonna rock with here to really touch base on is taking time. Hold on, I'm gonna create a banner. This is time blocking for success. Yes, time blocking for success. That's what we're doing right now. All right, so work with my guy Corbin. Best up, Corbin, candid professional. Who you with? He had me on this thing. Now, mind you, this was after this situation that I experienced with you when I messed up. I had the kerfuffle with Dr. Lynn's appointment, right? Mm-hmm. So here, let me share the screen. So here, all right. So now, this right here is your boy's calendar. All right. Now, one of the things here is I told him, I said, hey, listen, this is when I get my stuff done. This is when it happens, blah, blah, blah. And he was like, when I showed him my calendar originally, that was nowhere near. That was nowhere here. So he was like, first of all, we need to get you a consistent calendar. So I'm talking to my peoples out here. If you're going to time block for success, have a standard calendar that you consistently go by. Why is that, Paul? Well, because if you have a lot of different calendars, you may go by one and then you're missing an appointment that was originally scheduled in something else. So you can have the best intentions to get to be with people, but you end up butting heads and double booking yourself. Make sense? So listen, so here in this one, I guess I got to blow this up. Hold on. Yeah, I got to blow this up. So I had to put in time for like on that Sundays, those times, that's the time when I just like don't do anything and I'm sitting like, okay, what do I got for the week, right? Now, I even got some space here that I could fill in, but usually that's when I'm not doing anything. I'm usually thinking or like outside or doing some sort of task. Now, I also blocked in, I have a full-time job, so I blocked out that time for the full-time, even blocked out my work break just for consistency. Now, even in time, like I have to put in like my thought and my vision and thought discipline, journaling, exercise, movement. Now, here's the kicker, right? There may be some days when I don't do it. Okay, there may be some days when I don't do it. The thing is that I'll either say something or put something in that calendar or in that spot, or I'll just take it off. So at least I know when I did something and when I didn't. I'm putting this out here because I think it's the time blocking of success, the time blocking for success. You need that time, and it's important to put it out here. So you're like, oh shit, I'm overbooked. Or like, oh junk, I haven't done any of this for this. So it's a great way to see what's going on. B, what's your thoughts on that piece, man?
I think it's a great way to see, because most people are not going to get everything done. And I think it's a great way to kind of see the distractions that you have going on in your life. So you can look at the end of the week and being like, all right, I keep on missing this 7 to 8 time. What am I doing that time? And look at my phone. Are you just bullshitting around? What are you doing that you're not getting the task done? So it's a great way to limit distractions out of your life so you can reach your goals more efficiently and a lot quicker too.
Bless up, man. B, you hit it on something, right? You hit it right on the head, man. You get to look back at where did I actually spend my time?
Yeah.
Wait, hold up. Wait, what did I do in that time? Like, is there a space for me to do something different? Hey, maybe it's a space for me to rest. Maybe it's a space for me to plan, catch up on something. Like this is a way for you to see and for you to know what the heck is really going on, man.
It could be a chance for you to maybe pivot. So if you keep on missing the same thing, maybe you're not into that thing, and you can prioritize something else in it. So if you're constantly missing your, I don't know what it is, like, you're supposed to meal prep every night, and you're missing that, and you're just like, I don't have time to do that. Maybe you do that more in the morning, or you put it off to another day and you schedule something else in there. You don't want to have these tasks like, oh, I got to do this task. It's like it's never going to get done, and if it gets done, it's going to get done in a shitty way that you shouldn't even have done it anyway. So,
brother, you hit it right on the head. You hit it right on the head again, man. Ding, 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 ding. I'm
ding,
gonna
ding,
start calling you the hammer, man.
The hammer.
If you're gonna use a calendar, I encourage you to create a buffer time. For me personally, I have a tendency to want to pack shit in. So when I pack stuff in, then all of a sudden, B, guess what happens? I'm behind. I'm late.
Yeah.
You remember I'd be late as a mug, right? You remember I'd be late.
You're getting better though. You're getting better.
Before it was like days. Now it's like maybe 10, 15 minutes. So I'm making progress.
Making progress.
Yeah, it's a beautiful thing, bro.
Yeah.
You know what we do. But listen, I think that's the number one piece, time blocking for success. Be anything else to talk about on that before we move on to the next piece?
No, I would just say, like, kind of going back what I was saying before, if you miss something in that time block, there's a note, you can put a note in there and be like, what caused you to miss that? And if it's become something that's regular, like, I don't know what it is, like wives bother me, girls bother me, bosses bother, whatever it is, at least like, again, your distractions, things that are hindering from you to get your results.
Yeah, B. That's
Always
why I like
put
the
it in there
Google.
before you forget.
Dude, this comes back. This Brian, when you're saying that, this comes back to something I think I don't know if we did a podcast on this, but the power of journaling, man. Because it's maybe it's because I'm quirky. I feel like I've been feeling like a progressive commercial lately, like I'm an old man. Like I'm like, well, I better take these notes because I just might forget. But I'm recognizing like documenting things
Yeah.
so I can come back and be like, oh, junk. Okay, I remember that. And you mentioned something else that I think is important. You said do it before you forget. But here it is: review and adjust regularly. Did I say regularly right? I did. I did. I think this is important because going along the line with what you said, it's that regular adjustment keeps us on task, right? It keeps us on
Mm-hmm.
like okay, oh, this is happening. Okay, I gotta adjust this. Or like
Yeah.
even how when you and I, how we do the podcast, it's like when we have our monthly meetings, it's like, okay, what's happening over the next month? Where are we going? So now it's like we can plan accordingly for when Brian travels, or if I have something going on, we can work our schedules and it's aligned. So that's important, guys. That's important, party peoples. Important. Yeah, it says when I was taking to emphasize the importance of a weekly and daily calendar review. How often do you review your calendar?
Not too much because I've been doing it for so long. So like
Yeah.
one point I would make is adjust the calendar if the task that you're doing isn't meeting your end goals. You need to be crystal clear on what your goals are. A lot of people adjust their calendars too much because it's something they're scared to do or don't feel confident doing or don't like understand how to do it. So they'll be like, "Oh, I'm just going to skip that around." If that's the case, like you're adjusting it under the wrong premises. Adjust only if it's not reaching the ultimate goal that you have set out for yourself in, say, the 3-year plan or 1-year plan or whatever it is goal that you have for yourself. So don't adjust out of fear or of being lazy. Adjust out of not hitting the macro goal. The hammer is struck again.
The hammer. Hammer on the head, son. Hammer on the nail, bro. Listen, the podcast is over. It's a wrap.
But I do adjust macro goals. I don't adjust micro goals too much because that's like the foundation. It's like kind of like what Kobe always talks about. He just practices the basics all the time. You practice the basics all the time. I don't adjust too much of the micro tasks I do. The macro goals every once in a while. Like if I see say I have a goal of hitting, say $100,000 at the end of the year for my business, and I'm in quarter 2 and I already hit that. You know what? I'm going to push up. I'm like, I want to hit $300,000 for the year. I'll adjust it based on that, or I'll make the goals more realistic.
Yeah. Oh man. So once again, bam, bam, hammer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. See, listen, man. This is super important. I really appreciate what you said. I want to emphasize this again. Adjust the calendar to what's aligned, rather than like just adjusting it to avoid. Because that's
Yes.
important, man. Because again, your boy been through that too. Because like, you know what? I don't know if that's a good thing for me to do. Probably because I didn't want to do it. That's what it was. Like I was like, I didn't want to do that, John. And then like I can't run from it though. But I like the fact what you're saying. It's about really adjusting it to like what if you hit the goal, make the adjustment. Or if something's aligning and you're getting good results, where in your calendar can you maybe do more of it or leverage what's the results of what you're getting? I like what you're saying too, B, because even in this, when a person makes the adjustment, if you're using like a Google Calendar, you're making the documentation, you can track in the notes. So even coming back is super powerful. And listen, again, talking about from a productivity standpoint, why not, man? Why not?
Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah.
Listen,
Make sure those little tasks are getting to your goal. A lot of people, they don't work smart. Like they work hard, but they don't work smart. Like they just it's almost like they're just trying to keep busy, but they're not keeping busy in the right way. Does that make sense?
yes.
Like they like say like somebody like, oh, I read 10 books on how to start a business. I'm like, all right, cool. Well, I know, what are you doing with that education you learned? Nothing. I want to get done. I want to read my 12th book first before I do anything. So they're not any of the knowledge they're getting. They have all this knowledge, but they're not applying it. Like knowledge isn't power. Applied knowledge is power. That's getting pretty common now. So you want to make sure you're applying everything. Otherwise, you're just wasting time. You don't go anywhere just reading books.
Dude, you hit, man. El Mortillo.
I used to be somebody that just takes a shit ton of courses, reads a lot of books, and I'm like, why am I broke, man? I know more than like 99% of the trainers out there. Why don't I have any money? Like, because I'm not applying it, or I'm not learning how to market, or I'm not looking at different avenues on how to create wealth or create money.
Yo, we got B's dropping the Jemmy gems, man. Come on, bro. God damn, bro.
I like these because I didn't really like. We don't plan for it. We just kind of get on and wing it, and just off the top of the dome and see what happens.
Listen, people, thank you for being here with us. Listen, this is a treat. We love getting on, chopping it up, breaking down these topics. Because listen, we're talking about a calendar, but in the grand scheme of things, this is helping you plan and plot out your success, because it's going to require you to have different thought processes to be able to, like, okay, let me plot out my steps. When you start doing things like that towards your goal, you make it real and it's happening.